Instagram ads in 2025, what you need to be doing differently to stay ahead of the game. In this training, I'm going to be walking through the exact strategies that I'm using with my clients right now to get some amazing results. So let's dive into it. It's going to be short but packed with value. So before we dive into that, if you don't know me already, my name is Richard. I've been in this game a while, over 15 years, in person and online. I've worked as a business mentor, gym manager, online coach. I've been through the other mentorships myself, and I cherry pick the best strategies and I only use the stuff that I know works. So why do we need to do anything different at all? Like, what has changed? Well, we all know reach, organically is down and has been down year on year for like the last 5 years. It's becoming more difficult to get your stuff in front of people and grow your account. And then the double-edged sword is paying to get your stuff in front of other people is also on the rise. So paid ad costs have gone up in that time as well. They ain't making it easy for us. And there's several reasons for that. But one of the reasons, things are getting harder is there's a sea of online coaches. And I quite like this image. I asked ChatGPT to generate this for me. But there is some saturation in the market, and that has led to a bit of a decline in trust in the industry. People are being spammed more in the DMs just because there's lots of coaches that have been doing these organic strategies where they're messaging hundreds of people per day. They're getting more advertisements from online coaches. So trust in the industry is a lot lower than it was when it was almost a novelty and almost raised your authority a few years ago if you're an online coach. But now it's much more the norm, and they're everywhere. So we used to be able to market to a cold audience. So this is our cold ad that would go out to a cold prospect, pop them in the funnel, and we'd get sales at the end of it. But because there's a lack of trust, this is becoming less effective. This used to be kind of 10-15% of people might convert. Now it's like 1 or 2%. So you have to spend a lot of money when you're doing these cold funnels to get return on investment. So what do we need to do differently? We need to warm people up before we market to them. And I like to call this sticking them in the microwave, taking them from a cold lead into a warm lead. That's when we can then market to them, put them in our funnel, and try and get the sale out of them. Now, a funnel is just a name for what method we use to kind of attract and convert them. So traditional ones, might be like a webinar or a landing page, or can even be things like challenges, or it can be as simple as in our Instagram, we're just getting a DM conversation with them. So people often overcomplicate the word funnel. Now this is our cold audience, and this is our warmer audience. These people don't automatically become warm, right? They're all cold to begin with, but most of the potential is in this area. So what a lot of people do is they're just running paid ads, and they're just kind of hitting or converting this very small amount of people. But they're not doing a lot on the back end with 99% of people. They're kind of getting lost, right, and forgotten about. And this is where the opportunity is for you in 2025. How do we warm people up so that we can then remarket to that 99%? So you might have heard of the 7 rule in marketing. This is 7 touch points of content, 7 hours of content consumed. Now, this is just one of those kind of marketing statistics, right? That people are not necessarily ready to buy straight away, as we've talked about, 1 or 2%. The rest need some time to warm up to us, and they need to have come into contact with our content at least 7 different times or in 7 different spaces, and consumed up to 7 hours of content. Now that might be not that, or you might not need 7 hours to convert, but you certainly need more than a few seconds of reels that they might be seeing from you on Instagram. So you want to think about, like, how can you accelerate this process? Because if you're just doing reels and short form content, this is going to take months to get that amount of content viewed by them. So in 2025, you're going to hear a lot more about ecosystems or flywheels, because most people aren't just buying straight away. You need to invite them into your ecosystem where you can accelerate that building with trust by getting 7 touch points and up to 7 hours of content. It's very difficult to do that with Instagram alone, right? So you want to think about what other channels can you use to warm them up quickly. So I give you an example of my funnel. Either people come into my world via an ad straight to school, then I invite them to follow my Instagram, and then they'll get an email marketing from me. And then I'll push them back to watch something else from school. And it works like this, right? Just building up trust. Now, you don't necessarily have to have all these channels. You just need to start thinking about what other channels can I use if you're just using a few. Now, it might be that you start a Facebook group or a group somewhere else where you invite people into so they can start consuming. Or it might be thinking about, how can I create an email list so I can email out to people. Or my next step will be building the YouTube channel out so there's more long form content. The sooner people can consume this, right? If you've got, say, a good YouTube channel that you can point people to, people can be warmed up in a day or two if there's enough content for them to consume. So it's really what you need to be thinking about in 2025. How can I build trust quickly and raise my authority quickly? So this is what it looks like in practice, and how I do things with my clients. So this is an ad. We're going to a cold audience, and we're using AI to help us find people that are the right avatar, right? Then we're using an attraction method to get them into our audience. Now this can be a lead magnet, so it could be something like an ebook or video, or it could just be content that is asking them to follow us, right? So different styles of content that we put paid media behind and get them into our world. Then if it's an ebook, we're going to collect their email, and either way we're going to get them to watch something, right? Whether that's just through the DMs, we can point them to a video, or we'll send them somewhere else where they can consume a bit more content. We're then going to ask them if they need help, right? They're a good fit, they fit our avatar, they wouldn't have followed us otherwise. So we just say, hey, do you need some help? And at that point, we make them an offer. Now this is like the 1-2%, right? Could be slightly higher in some cases, but we want to think about the iceberg. This is our front end, and this is our back end, right? Most people are just optimizing for the front. You want to think about how you can optimize for the back. Make some sales on the front by just following this, you'll make sales. But the real money is on the back end. And this really is a case of time and just executing the strategy. So what is your strategy? Well, it's what we've just talked about. How can you continue to show up in their world, be omnipresent across different channels so that they can consume more content from you, and then they're in your microwave, right? They're getting warmed up. Anyone that comes into my audience, I'm thinking about, how can I get stuff in front of them to warm them up so I can reposition an offer? Because I know they're a good fit. It's just about timing and getting them warm enough. Then I'm now going to advertise to my warm audience. Now, time frame wise, this is probably 7 to 30 days. Okay, I would say this process can take, depending on how much content they've consumed. Then they're what I would qualify or call warm audience, right? Someone that's been in my world for 7 to 30 days. So I'm going to retarget them using meta ads, going into the business manager, picking people that have specifically engaged with me over the last 30 days. So I know they fit into this profile. And then I'm going to make 2 different ads. One is going to be a direct offer, hey, I've got this open. I'm looking for a few people to join. Do you want to join? And then B will be a lead magnet. This is going to get more responses. This is going to mop up, the percentage of people that are ready to take action. And this is going to mop up the percentage of people that are curious, right? But not quite sure whether they want to take action yet. Once they've consumed this extra resource, then I'm going to say, hey, you've been in my audience for a while. You've seen my content. What do you think? By the way, can I make you an offer? Do you want to work together? If you do that, you'll make sales. It's not that complicated, but it can feel kind of slightly overwhelming to set all this up. So if you do need additional support, then there's 2 options that I have. One is my Scale 5. This is my group low ticket program. And this is really, really cool because I've put everything into levels to gamify things. So people work through these with my accountability. I go in, make sure everything's looking good before they progress on to the next level. And this is the closest that I can come to step by step to first 5K online. If you are above 5K or you want to fast track things, then you're welcome to inquire about joining my inner circle. This is only for people who are the right fit, for people that I want to help, or I think they're in the right space for me to be able to help. And this is one-to-one, where I help you set up the campaigns, the creatives. We have a VA in there helping you with everything as well. None of this is expensive. So if you do need help, I'm not one of these mentors that's charging £10,000 for you to work with me. So just send me a message. I'll send you all the details. I don't do sales calls. I just send it to you and make an informed decision whether it's something that you want to do together. Or just take all this information and run with it. Give it a try. Best of luck. See you soon.